I know it's hard, I know it's complicated, but I promised you've been waiting here forever. I had a much to say, but you're not here with me, no. We're invincible, like fire in the snow. Trust me when I say you are my beautiful world, and I'm feeling it all, we should make an effort. It's true you're so far away, and it's true you don't feel the same. But if you take my hand, we can try and go back, starting from scratch. I won't let you go, no I can't let you go, 'cause you're my gravity, and I will never leave. I won't let you go, no baby I will not, because I still believe. You're my gravity. You will never be what I expected. Different frequencies, that's why we ain't connected. You know I will make it through, I got nothing to lose but you. It's true you're so far away, and it's true I can feel the same. It's another day, you know you want me to stay, but I go my way. I won't let you go, no I can't let you go, 'cause you're my gravity, and I will never leave. I won't let you go, no baby I will not, because I still believe. You're my gravity. You're my gravity. You're calling out my name, but the echo numbs your pain. Sorry, but more than just a shadow, I'm more than just a man. You don't care how I feel, you don't know how I feel. No, you don't know how. I wash away the sorrow till my heart can beat again. You're my gravity. No, you're my gravity. I will let you go, the only thing that I know. You were my gravity, but now I have to leave. I will let you go. Why do you feel that I want? What do you think that I want? I know how to breathe into my gravity, into my gravity, into my gravity, into my gravity, into my gravity. I know it's hard, I know it's complicated, but I promised you've been waiting here forever. I had a much to say, but you're not here with me, no. We're invincible, like fire in the snow. Trust me when I say you are my beautiful world, and I'm feeling it all, we should make an effort. It's true you're so far away, and it's true you don't feel the same. But if you take my hand, we can try and go back, starting from scratch. I won't let you go, no I can't let you go, 'cause you're my gravity, and I will never leave. I won't let you go, no baby I will not.
Warning. The Duracell Cup Series data file you have attempted to access is out of date. Uploading current file now.
It's a brand new car from stem to stern, and it's never been raced at these speeds.
The next gen car is opportunity.
Everything is different with the exception of like the seat, the steering wheel, and your helmet.
Unknown creates excitement.
Talking about my generation.
Second season of the NNSCRA Duracell Ultra Lite Series is moments away from hitting its starting point as we are at the World Center of Racing. This is Daytona International Speedway in preparation for qualifying this afternoon. Later on tonight, the green flag will fly to get the second season of the Lite Series started. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Seth Cole, and we are set here for a 20-minute time session in which our Lite drivers here for Season 2 will head out on the racetrack, run for the pole position, and set the starting lineup for later on tonight. Cup drivers will be on the track a little later on as well. Of course, we'll have the Lites race tomorrow, tonight, and then the Daytona 500 tomorrow. An action-packed weekend here at Daytona International Speedway, capped off by the Great American Race. These drivers only going to have one round to be able to run for the pole position. Of course, it's super speedway, so it's all going to come down to draft. You're going to see a lot of drivers try to either go out together in a big group or try to time coming off of pit road to merge in with a car or two. You want that optimal draft lap, if you can get it, to be able to set the fastest time and start on the pole position. Last season, we didn't have a group qualifying session for the Lite Series. We had 2 rounds for the Cup drivers, where the top 10, the fast 10, moved on to the second round. Now here this season, universally, Lites and Cup will only get 1 round to set the starting lineup. We've got a bunch of drivers already being pushed out on the track. I'm being told that the 20 minutes has begun in terms of the timer, and it looks like the first driver out on track is going to be the veteran Nick Gunther. Now, Nick Gunther, Anthony McCrory, branching off from Fortnite Squad Racing and making their own Mazda team in the Cup Series at Garage 55. Gunther, McCrory, full-time drivers, along with non-charter driver Autumn Brooks. We saw her last week in the Clash. They're also going to occasionally field a 4th Mazda with Ralph Mason at most of the road courses, but they've also expanded their Mazda program down here to the Duracell Ultra Lite Series. We will see Ralph Mason and Autumn Brooks run full-time. Also, Sean Galligan has been listed as a full-time driver. We're going to see him on track here pretty soon. And then this is going to be the all-star car, the 55, for Nick Gunther and Anthony McCrory. They will alternate every now and then, get some extra lap track time here in the Lite Series in preparation for the Cup Series race. A lot of the schedule for Lites similar to the Cup Series, so track time never is going to hurt. A lot of drivers actually adopted the strategy of having an all-star car if they had a Cup Series team. So Nick Gunther will do the driving duties this week. There's no go or go home knockout qualifying here for the Duracell Ultra Lite Series. I believe 29 drivers currently at this point are in the field. That means there's plenty of space still, 13 spots open if anybody wants to sign up for a Lite Series ride as soon as next week at Manassas. That is definitely an option, but it looks like 29 drivers, so there will be no knockout queue here this afternoon, at least in the Lite Series race later on this evening. There's another of the Mazdas out of Garage 55. That's Sean Galligan in the 62. Union Jack featured on the front of his car. You'll see the same on his teammate Ralph Mason. Galligan, of course, with the Hartlepool United sponsorship. Sean Galligan, very familiar with winning a championship in the second tier series, if you will. If you remember back to the days of the Oreo Truck Series, Mobile One Cup Series, and Stickers Cup Series, Sean Galligan was a champion in the Mobile One Cup Series, which was, if you will, the Xfinity series of the trios. So keep an eye on him here, his first full-time season in lights. Behind him, Michael Turner in the 02, one of two entries out of the Michael Norman Motorsports stables this year. Pizza Hut sponsorship on his machine. And then Eli Bright in the number 20. Eli Bright out of Trackhouse Racing this season. We've seen Eli Bright run in a series under the NNSCRA banner before. He'll be the Sunny D Toyota Supra here in Season 2. Cole Koibe, first driver we look at that is going to be running his second full-time season in the Duracell Ultra Light Series. Last year, drove the number 18 car. Finished 19th in overall points after a strong start to the season. He was definitely looking like he was going to be potentially one of the title contenders, and all of a sudden, midway portion of the season, his qualifying efforts dropped, his finishes were poor as a result, and he free fell through the standings, only garnering 2 top 5s and 9 top 10s during the course of the 20 races that he ran. Now over with Haas Racing, still in a Toyota, this time a Supra, and the number 38 Vitamin Water Machine. They just split a car 3 wide, and that is Jack Mitchell. Mitchell was originally slated to run full-time here in the Light Series before he was able to get a charter for the current Cup Series season. Since they had everything in place, he kept the 01 still as an entry in the Light Series, and he will be occasionally down here in some select races. This is going to be an all-star car, if you will, for Adrenaline Motorsports. There's another entry out of Haas Racing, the number 8 Wes McCoy in the Toyota Supra. A lot of drivers that we've seen in the past, but not here in the Light Series. A lot of drivers that we saw last season returning this season. And in the case of Wes McCoy, drivers that we've never seen before. But I think if we can go back to last week's clash at the Coliseum, where we saw a complete unknown Summer Henson take the checkered flag, do not rest on these new names and these new faces. They may surprise us by the end of the season. Speaking of all-star cars, here's another one. This one's out of Bishop Family Racing. Dylan Young, Florida native. Going to be behind the wheel of the number 16 here this week. That ride will be shared occasionally between Dylan Young and RJ Bishop. Dylan Young will have the Hooters sponsorship, and RJ Bishop, trying to remember what the sponsorship is on his car. I believe it's, I was going to say 3M, but I don't think that's correct. It might be Kroger. I don't recall off the top of my head, though. Autumn Brooks, we saw her in the clash last week at the LA Coliseum. She's running full-time in both Lights and Cup, but she will earn points in Lights. She's a non-charter full-time driver in Cup. They're just for experience. She will be running for points and for the championship here in the Light Series. Yet another Mazda that will be in the field out of Garage 55. Kat Batson returning for her second full-time season in the number 39 car. Last season, Kat had 2 top 5s, 10 top 10s, finished 13th in overall points. Entry out of KB Racing Enterprises with the Aussie Hair Products sponsorship on her Ford Dark Horse Mustang. Now we have a number of Mazdas in the field out of Garage 55. This is the only Mazda that is not out of that stable. This is out of ST Racing. Skylar Taylor in the Costco machine. Skylar Taylor last season only ran 13 of the 20 races since he signed his ride pretty late into the start of the year, but in only those 13 races, 2 wins, 6 top 5s, 8 top 10s. And we were asking the question, imagine if Skylar had run the 7 races he missed out on, we might have been talking about him in the championship conversation. Second full-time season for him now, and he'll be able to run all the races. We'll see what he's going to be able to do here in Season 2. You've been keeping an eye on the ticker as it goes across here with 12 minutes remaining. You'll see who's currently up at the top of the board, that being the 71 of Aubrey Powell, who is who is actually in this group right here, led by Chris Dollerton, the number 40. Chris Dollerton, of course, a former Duracell Next Gen Cup Series champion. And he's going to be in the Pennzoil Dark Horse Mustang out of Michael Norman Motorsports. Cody Majoric, this is the first entry we see out of Joanna Atwood Motorsports, the 4-travel Motor Coach Chevrolet Camaro. Cody Majoric, we've never seen him run under an NNSCRA banner offline, but he has actually run under an NNSCRA banner in online competition, ironically enough. And there is the current driver at the top of the board at a 44.496, hoping that holds for these final 11 minutes. To start from the pole position, Aubrey Powell, another entry out of Haas Racing. Haas Racing been a little hard as far as terms of getting sponsorship here. Both Aubrey Powell and Wes McCoy currently unsponsored. They can have good performances here this week at Daytona. I think there will be people definitely lining up for sponsoring their respective Supras. Here's another Supra. This is Trackhouse Racing's all-star car. Reggie Fogelman, who will be running full-time in the Cup Series over for Haas Racing. He'll be swapping on and off with Sarah Fogelman in the number 11 5-hour Energy Toyota Supra. Getting some extra track time here in preparation, maybe not only for tomorrow's Daytona 500, but for the Cup Series qualifying coming up here in just a little bit. Here's the final entry out of Haas Racing, Colin Grace, and the number 27. If I'm not given a whole lot of information about some of these drivers, it's because I don't have any. No prior knowledge on some of these drivers that are making their debuts, not only in the Duracell Ultra Lite Series, but in the NNSCRA as a whole. And Colin Grace is one of those drivers. But I have a feeling that we'll have a lot to talk about them when we end up getting to knockout qualifying next week at Manassas, because I think this Daytona race is going to present us with a lot of storylines. Mike Tellier in the number 17 out of Bishop Family Racing, the 3M sponsorship for him. Mike Tellier, we saw him last season make the Daytona 500 and had a solid top 10 run as well. We will see him attempt to qualify for the 500 here later on in Cup qualifying as well, but he'll be running full-time here in the Light Series as well, getting some good experience. Cam Wright Jr. and the number 95 Cheetos Flamin' Hot Chevrolet. This is the entry out of Southern Cross Racing. He'll be teammates to David Dixon, another driver that we have no prior knowledge about. Add another driver to that list, Jordan Anderson, in the second entry out of the Joanna Atwood Motorsports Stables, and the number 89. He'll be teammates to Cody Majoric's number 70. Dave Smith in the number 15, Papa John's Chevrolet. This is another entry. This is one of the full-time rides that are running for the championship out of Adrenaline Motorsports. We saw the All-Star car with Jack Mitchell a little while ago. Another driver that we'll be seeing build their NNSCRA career before our eyes. Has not had any prior experience in a series here under the NNSCRA banner. This driver has, though, David Dixon. His second full-time season in the Duracell Ultra Lite Series. 3-time winner last year was David Dixon. Last year he was in a Toyota when they ran the Gen 6 cars. He's in a Chevrolet here this season for Southern Cross Racing, owner-driver. Finished out last year, as mentioned, 3 wins, 9 top 5s, 10 top 10s, and 6th in the final point standings. Juan Garcia out of Trackhouse Racing, the Jack Daniels Toyota Supra, will be making his series debut and his NNSCRA overall debut here tonight in the first race of the season, as will this driver, Brody Kupski, in the number 41 out of the Adrenaline Motorsports stables. So right there, you see the 15 up on the outside line, the 41 there on the inside line. Those two, they'll try and find each other here later on tonight. And there is Ralph Mason in the 66, the other Union Jack hooded Mazda out of Garage 55. Right now, P8 for Ralph Mason. Saw Ralph Mason attempt to qualify for road courses last season in the Cup Series out of Kyotech Racing. They've brought him on full-time here in the Lite Series at Garage 55, and as mentioned, he'll be making some, or attempting to make some Cup starts in a non-charter capacity at most, if not all, of the road courses here in Cup Series Season 8. Roberto Crown Jr., second full-time season for him. A former winner from last year. Had 3 top 5s and 8 top 10s on the year. 11th in overall final points. Makes the move over now to Toyota from Chevrolet as he'll be fielded out of the Trackhouse Racing stables. Nathan Fogler with the familiar Duracell colors on the number 13 out of Fogler Racing. Nathan Fogler last season with 5 top 5s, 9 top 10s, 0 in the win column, so he'll look to remedy that here in Season 2, was 10th in the final season standings at the conclusion of the year. Kyle Langland makes his return to the series. Langland, a former winner from last season, 2 trips to victory lane, 7 top 5s, 11 top 10s, finished 5th in overall points. Didn't get the run he was looking for in the finale at Michigan, as he was mathematically in the hunt for the championship. He was a long shot driver, but did not get the finish he was looking for. Dropped from 3rd to 5th in the conclusion of that race. Nathan Stapleton making the move on him there. Stapleton moving from... oh no, he was a Ford last year. Never mind. He was a Ford, even though it was at that time a Ford Fusion. He is now in a Ford Mustang, moving from the obviously Gen 6 Cup cars to the 2020 Xfinity cars. Powerade still the sponsorship for his number 97 on the side, but you can see new primary sponsor with JBL.com on his machine out of NS Racing. Stapleton last year finished 18th in overall points with 3 top 5s and 9 top 10s. So he will look to improve on that here this season. Let's check and make sure if we've missed out on anybody. This is an opportunity to kind of showcase all the drivers we'll see here during the course of this season, whether in part-time or full-time capacity. There's the second entry out of KB Racing Enterprises, Jackson Haywood. Now, I might be wrong, but I'm pretty certain that back, I think it was in the Hershey's Cup Series, we ended up seeing a Cup Series ride fielded out of KB Racing Enterprises, and I think it was Jason Haywood at the time. I don't believe we've ever seen Jackson Haywood run under the NNSCRA banner, so this will be his debut later on tonight when the green flag flies. And I think we have now covered everybody that will be taking part here this evening. When last we checked, it was Aubrey Powell at the top of the board. Since then, Juan Garcia has moved up to the top at a 44.343, and Brody Kupski's Chevrolet currently sits in second. Then it's the Chevy of David Dixon, the Chevy of Dave Smith, and the Toyota of Aubrey Powell, your current top 5. That is 4 different teams, organizations if you will, represented inside of the top 5. The only team that right now has 2 entries up in the top 5 would be Adrenaline Motorsports, with Kupski in second and Smith in 4th place. Let's take a look at what's around the turn as we have a busy race weekend, a busy day here on this Saturday here at Daytona. After the qualifying concludes here at 4 o'clock, you're going to see the Duracell Cup Series drivers on the track to set the starting lineup for tomorrow's Daytona 500. And then tonight, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, you'll see the same Duracell Ultra Lite Series drivers on track as they will prepare for the Daytona 300, the first points-paying green flag of the season. And, of course, as well, different playoff format this season, as there is going to be a chase. There wasn't a chase last year, and there's some different criteria on how to get into the playoffs. One of them is a wild card spot of the driver that has the most wins outside of, I believe, is the top, was it the top 6? I got to go back and look at the what the official wording was. But there are drivers that are going to be able to officially point their way in, drivers that can win their way in. So an early victory here in Season 2 could be very important. And, of course, tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, it's the big one. It's the Great American Race Daytona 500 to kick off Season 8 of the Next Gen Cup Series. And that's all taking place here on NNSCRA TV, or Around the Turn, brought to you by NNSCRA Paint Designs. Less than a minute and a half here as Juan Garcia looking good for the time being to have the pole position. And Brody Kupski there now jumped up to that top line. I was wondering if that top line got a run, if he got alongside the 19. I was going to say that's what your front row is going to look like coming to green. You see some drivers already coming to pit road there. It's going to be tough to tell the difference between Sean Galligan and Ralph Mason's cars from the front. You can tell from the side. Obviously, you can see the number, but also Galligan's got the sponsorship back on the rear quarter panels. Ralph Mason does not. But from the front, they both have the British flag. So it is kind of difficult to tell who is who when you're looking head on. Well, as things stand right now, as far as the top 10, it looks like it'd be a pretty even mix of manufacturers. Got Toyota at the top of the board, followed by 3 Chevrolets, then another Toyota in 5th, 2 Chevys in 6th, or make that Fords rather, in 6th and 7th, Chevy in 8th, Ford in 9th, and Toyota in the 10th position. We'll have 4 manufacturers this season: Toyota Supras, Chevrolet Camaros, Ford Dark Horse Mustangs, and then, of course, the Mazda MX-5s. Zero's on the clock. We're just waiting for the official word that the session has concluded, that scoring has ceased. Juan Garcia is going to be the first driver here in Season 2 to capture a pole position. It will be his first career pole in the Duracell Ultra Lite Series. A number of drivers last year got pole positions. I think we ended up having something like 14 different drivers of 21 full-time drivers that started on the inside of the front row. And we had a lot of multiple-time pole sitters as well. I think we had 2 3-time pole sitters, 4 2-time pole sitters. So that just shows you that it was a mixed bag of who brought the speed each week. And Juan Garcia firing the first shot. Obviously, as I said, a lot comes down to finding yourself, getting the optimal drafting lap, maybe at the tail end of a big pack, being able to get the toe off of a driver. You want to have, like, because there we go, there's the final official word that the session is concluded, but you want to have, maybe depending on what kind of draft these cars are able to get, anywhere from 3-4 tenths of a second, maybe even half a second between you and the car in front to be able to get that toe, get that draft. But you probably also need to have somebody behind you as well. But Juan Garcia was able to do just that, and as a consequence, he will start from the pole position later on this evening when we go green in the Daytona 300, the first race of the season. Brody Kupski will line up to his outside. Row 2, David Dixon, Dave Smith. Aubrey Powell and Jackson Haywood will be row 3. Chris Dollerton, Cody Majoric, Cat Batson, Eli Bright going to be your top 10 when we get ready to go racing later on this evening from Daytona. Here's a look at the rest of the drivers. It's the way that they will start tonight's race. Some big names starting towards the back of the pack, including quite a few of our Cup Series regulars for the season. Dylan Young back in 17th, Jack Mitchell 22nd, Reggie Fogelman, Nick Gunther in 24th and 25th. So they're going to have some work to do, going to have to pass some cars to get up to the front there. Obviously, as we know, they're not running for points. They're out there trying to get experience, and hey, a win here or there certainly wouldn't hurt their resumes either. So should be very interesting with different drivers having different agendas to kick off season 2. But thank you all for tuning into this qualifying session. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, be sure to give this video a like. Be sure to subscribe to become part of the crew today. And if you're on your phone, be sure to hit that bell notification to be notified when these broadcasts take place. In just a little bit, the Cup drivers head on to this rubbered up racetrack now, getting set to qualify their way into or get the pole position, whichever the case may be, for the Great American Race Daytona 500. We'll have, of course, the knockout qualifying drivers, the non-charter drivers out first, and then we will run for the pole. One round of qualifying. Should be a good one. And then later on this evening, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, join us right back here at Daytona. These Lite Series drivers will head on to the racetrack and get ready to garner the points to kick off the second season of Duracell Ultra Lite Series competition. Thank you once again for tuning in. I've been Seth Cole. You've been watching another broadcast courtesy of NNSCRA TV, offline racing at its best.
The following has been a presentation of NNSCRA TV for the private use of our audience. Any other use of this telecast or any pictures, descriptions, or accounts of the game without the consent of the NNSCRA is prohibited. NNSCRA would like to thank all of our loyal fans, and we hope you enjoyed today's broadcast.